Hey everyone, I am finally sitting down to share my thoughts on Digimon Adventure Tribe Part 4, right? I think, whatever. Part 4, Loss. I'm sorry it's taken so long for me to finally sit down and make a video. It's been a stressful couple weeks, and also, it has actually been a couple weeks since I saw the new try, and I've been kind of wondering what exactly am I going to say about it, because nothing really happened. I mean, this has been a slow series with a lot of filler and a lot of padding anyway, but I feel like this especially was like that. I feel like nothing happened, and there was very little story progression. So let's talk about what actually did happen in this fourth installment of Try. So this is Sora's story. You know, we've had Ty and Matt's story, we had Joe and Mimi's story, and now this is Sora's story. Kind of surprised that they didn't combine her with someone else, considering we've only got 2 of these left. But I guess last time was Izzy's episode. But there's also kind of a focus on TK, sort of, because he goes to Mega, but we'll talk about that later. One thing I was very impressed about was, you know, you look at the poster and you see Sora and Phoenixmon, but Ty and Matt are also on the poster, and I thought, well, great, does that mean they're gonna really beat the crap out of this this forced love triangle thing that they've got going on? And it was in there a little bit, but definitely not as much as I was afraid of. So kudos to them for not focusing too much on that. What I really liked in this being a story about Sora is that when the kids get into the digital world and they reunite with their partners, all of their partners have, you know, varying degrees of being weirded out by the kids showing up, and all the kids have a different kind of approach to dealing with their partners not remembering them. Like Mimi is very forceful, and she goes right up to Tanamon and starts hugging her and cuddling her, and Tanamon's like, what the crap, who are you? And she's like, oh, it's so good to see you again, and kind of ignoring, but that, you know, that's Mimi. And Kari kind of like crouches down and puts her hand out for Nyaramon to smell it, and it's a very How to Train Your Dragon moment, and that was sweet. I enjoyed little moments like that, and when Mimi feeds everybody, and it's super cute. But the one who has the most friction with her partner is Sora. Like some of the Digimon are kind of weirded out. They keep their distance, but they're kind of like also kind of curious. Yokomon wants absolutely nothing to do with Sora and runs away from her and is outright mean to her. And you know, your heart breaks for her. And it makes sense because in the original story, they kind of cut it out of the English, with the English dialogue, but in the original adventure story, Sora was one of the most hesitant to trust her partner. Well, I guess not so much trustworthy, she just didn't understand the digital world and wasn't quite as ready to go along with it as some of the other kids. So there's actually a lot of tension between Sora and Biyomon, where Biyomon's like all lovey and following Sora around, and Sora doesn't understand why this digital monster is suddenly like so attached to her when they've only just met. She's just kind of weirded out by it and keeps her distance. So it is kind of a thematic flipping of what happened in the original adventure, and I like that a lot. I'm so happy that Sora, who is a character who often gets the shaft, writing wise in Digimon, to get a storyline that makes sense for her. It's just sad that it doesn't ever really bloom into something spectacular. And I think part of it is, part of it is May. We still have to deal with the issue of May. She's not going away. And one of the things, like, they get into the digital world and there's Meikamon and she's crying out for May, like, where is she? I was like, oh, Meikamon remembers, like, she wasn't affected by the reboot, like, bite me. And May, of course, decides she's done crying and being scared, and she finally gets into the digital world, and she gets reunited with Meikamon, and oh, isn't it unfair because she remembers, and like, I'm not opposed to them introducing a new character. I think I've said this before for a couple of reasons. One, if this is supposed to be building up to explaining how the world got to be the way it is in the 02 finale, everyone has a partner, so I don't mind them adding new characters who also have Digimon. It is a little weird that she has like the first edition Digivice, but whatever. And the other reason, I don't even mind her being a self-insert character. Like, self-insert characters are not necessarily bad. Like, I kind of consider, like, Luke Skywalker or Frodo to be self-insert character. I guess every man. The everyman. Like, there's nothing wrong with the everyman trope. Fantasy is kind of built on, like, we want to put ourselves in this position and see, see ourselves in these characters. Harry, I consider Harry to be a self-insert. He definitely, his personality is not as developed as Ron or Hermione. He is the one who has to be brought into the magical world. He has no knowledge of it, and he's the one who has to be shown how everything works. Like the audience, there's nothing wrong with that. But Harry and Frodo and Luke Skywalker and good self-insert or everyman characters have believable flaws that make them human, make them relatable, not this special snowflake, can do no wrong. Like, I guess she cries a lot and she has that weird sneezing tick, but, a good self-insert character, especially for a concept like this, Digimon Adventure Try. Hey kids who grew up with the Adventure series, we're gonna go back to the digital world with all your favorite characters in this brand new reboot. We're gonna see the digital world again, we're gonna see all your familiar faces, and putting a self-insert into a story like that is perfect. It would absolutely work, but it's because we want to go on these adventures with these characters. We don't want to be, by making her, like, kind of above the other Digidestined and kind of separated. She's almost like, it does create this separation where she's apart from them. She's not truly a part of the team. She's this special snowflake, different from the others, immune to all the reboot and the troubles that the other kids have. And that's not what we want from a self-insert character. We want to experience these hardships with these characters. How much more effective would it have been if Megamon was affected by the reboot and May was just as affected as the other kids? Like, that's They really, that's a missed opportunity for May to really have been hit with a hardship, and instead of running away from it like she did in the last one, deal with it this time. But again, I guess I could accept it because I think that they used Megamon to force the reboot, so maybe that's why she wasn't affected. But no. You can do better. You can write things better. Okay. So May is taking the focus away from the Adventure Kids again, when we should be, spending time with them, trying to reconnect with their partners. It did kind of weird me out that, they all digivolved and didn't seem to understand what was going on. It's okay that they went from in training to rookie just from eating, because they established in Adventure that's pretty common anyway. It's a small energy exchange, I guess. But like when Patamon's flying around and TK's like, Patamon, you digivolved, and Patamon says, oh, so I'm called Patamon? It's like, no! They know more about this world and who they are than the kids do. And I guess, again, it's kind of a thematic reversal of the kids having to learn everything in Adventure, and now they have to turn around and teach the Digimon this time around. I guess. Not developed enough. So the big bad of this movie is Machine Dramon, and I have no problem with that because he's an awesome villain. I guess... let's talk about the opening a little bit, because we have the backstory of Maki and Daigo fighting the Dark... I think they were fighting all the Dark Masters, and the 4 Heavenly Beasts were there for some reason. I don't know why. But they end up sacrificing Maki's partner during the battle, and we find out that that's the reason why Maki has wanted to force the reboot, because her partner died, and she wanted a chance to bring him back. Understandable. That's fine for motivations. Perfectly understandable. Although part of me was kind of wondering, like, in Adventure, they in the first series, they kind of mentioned that there were these kids that came before Tai and his friends. And I think it was only mentioned in one episode, and we only ever see them in shadow. But again, I have no problem with them coming up with more characters, because of the way Zero Two ending operates with everyone having a partner. I don't mind even more Digidestined who are separate from the ones we saw in Adventure, but I felt like it was kind of a wasted opportunity to tie Maki and Daigo into that. Um, but yeah, so I'm glad that we understand Maki's motivation now. And I just now realized that right now it's like they killed Leomon for real in the real world, but the reboot says that it's gonna give Digimon who die in the real world a chance to come back and be reborn, so they didn't really kill off Leomon, which I'm kind of happy about because I thought it was a little much that they killed Leomon off for good. Like, but at the same time, like, Wizardmon's death in the real world was one of the most powerful things about the original series because it was for good and he couldn't come back. And are we gonna see him again? I almost hope not, because it would cheapen what happened in Adventure. Was anyone else like thrilled or like perversely happy when Maki finally finds her partner and he doesn't remember her? And I'm like, that's what you get for ruining everyone's lives. And Maki's partner is Tapermon, which explains why he's in the poster. But at the same time, it's like, why Tapermon? Like, Tapermon's kind of a mysterious entity, and we've dealt with it before of like characters having Digimon that we've seen as like side characters. It happened in Zero Two when suddenly like Seedramon and others were partners of the kids instead of just like wild Digimon. So it's not. I just like, why Tapermon? Because Tapermon's kind of a mysterious entity in the digital world. You know, he's one of those, like, he controls dreams or he eats dreams or something like that. It's a little more, I don't know, he's kind of an enigma, so it's strange that they would pick that Digimon for Maki, and I would like to say that I'm eager to see why they made that choice and where they're going with it, but I've lost so much faith in this series that I'm guessing it was just totally random. That's the most disappointing thing for me, is that because there was such a lack of progression in the story in this one, I don't even know what to expect from the next couple, and I almost don't even care. I'll watch them, of course I'll watch them, but it seems like it doesn't even matter anymore.